Salutations, one and all! So, like many of you, ever since Volume 7 ended, I've been left wondering, what happens next? I mean, seriously, Salem showed up on a freaking flying whale! Where do they go from this? I mean, my assumption since it ended has been that Volume 8 would open up with the battle against Salem. That would be it. 15-some episodes all about them fighting Salem or Space Whale, but the more I thought about it, the less likely that seems. I mean, let's take a look at the status reports. Team RWBY, they're pretty wiped out. They just had a huge battle against the Aesops. It's going to be a little while for them to recover, and RWBY chooses her Silver Eyes, which always wears her out. Team Juniper, much shorter fight against Neo, but they still got their butt kicked and spent quite a while running away. Plus they're dealing with the whole psychological damage of losing Oscar, the relic, and whatever the freak Ren's going through that's making him kind of a jerk. Actually, a big jerk. Really, really big jerk. So they're in no condition to fight right now. Penny just saw someone die and is still dealing with the psychological trauma of that. Might be a little while before she's combat ready. Plus, it's probably gonna take her a little while to figure out and master her Winter Maiden powers. Speaking of which, Winter is in no condition to fight, more beat up than any of them. And the Aesops were just badly beaten, and they lost their leader, so yeah, they can't really do all that much right now. Oscar's off doing his own thing. I don't know what it is, but I don't think he's gonna end up reuniting with Team RWBY right away. I think he's gonna go have his own journey, have his own exploration, and grow from it, and then he'll reunite with them. Otherwise, they would have just, picked him up or said, oh, there's Oscar down there at the end of the volume. The fact that they didn't makes me think that he's just gonna be on his own for a bit. Crow and Robin are currently in jail, and given they were fairly responsible for the death of the leader of the most elite unit in all of Atlas, I don't think they're getting out anytime soon. So, if Salem attacked right now, it would be a one-hit kill and they'd lose instantly. So, what reason would she have for not doing that? What reason would she have for delaying her attack? And as I was thinking about that, I realized something very interesting. Nobody knows about Salem. It's not just that people don't know she's real, it's that there is no myths or legends about her. She isn't a scary story that people tell around the campfire. Parents don't tell their kids, oh, eat your vegetables or Salem will come and get you. Her very existence and even the legends about her have been erased from history. And for that to happen, she must not have been seen publicly for at least 1,000, maybe 2,000 years. Why? Why had Salem stick to the shadows? Why has she remained hidden? I mean, if it's just a question of, outright strength, in her last fight, she beat Ozma, whatever.
We finally have freedom.
And he's only gotten weaker since then, giving up his power to Crow, to Raven, to the Maidens, and who knows who else. So if it came down to a fight, even if he had backup from other huntresses and huntsmen, she would win without a doubt. So why? Why isn't she attacking directly? I mean, let's look at the attack on Beacon. She could have very easily just come in and attacked, and that would have been it. Actually, she didn't even need to attack. They could have just waited for Pyrrha to get the Fall Maiden powers, and then attacked her, killed her, and taken the powers from her. Would not have been that hard. They did it once before, and yes, Pyrrha was almost a challenge to Cinder. If you included Mercury and Emerald in that fight, there's no way she would have won. But instead of just, waiting and attacking afterwards, they created this huge, complex battle that required a ton of resources to pay off the White Fang, Torchwick, Junior's boys. They freaking excavated an underground city, all so they could load a train with explosives. They snuck into school using fake transcripts and spent weeks attending the academy, attending the tournament. If their objective had just been the Maiden's powers, there would have been no reason for that. They did what they did because they wanted to inspire fear. They wanted to inspire panic. They wanted people to hate each other, distrust each other, destroy each other. And we've certainly seen that. Pietro talked about how after the fall of Beacon, everyone became paranoid and distrustful of one another. How basically broke Ironwood and made him go a little crazy. And in the RWBY comic, we actually see a whole village of people who refuse to let RWBY and Team Juniper in because after the fall of Beacon, they don't trust Huntsman and Huntress anymore. They think they're evil. They think they're out to get them. There's all these rumors going around that the Huntsmen are secretly working with the Grimm and all that. People are afraid, people are panicking, people don't trust each other, and they're willing to kill one another. And that's exactly what Salem wanted. Because her true purpose isn't just to gather the relics, because they'll give her power. It's to gather the relics to call back the gods, to bring them back to this world. Because don't forget what the God of Light told Ozma.
But if your kind is unchanged, if you demand our blessings while still fighting amongst yourselves, then man will be found irredeemable, and your world will be wiped from existence.
If when they return they deem humanity to be unfit, to be corrupt, to be evil, they will wipe out the entire planet. And maybe that's what Salem thinks is their only chance of escape, or only means of embracing death, is if the gods themselves return and kill her. And maybe it's more personal. Maybe she just wants to show the gods how much she corrupted, how much she tainted their precious creations, their precious humans. I mean, either way though, she does not get closer to that goal by attacking Atlas. She does take a good step forward though if she manages to get Atlas and Mantle to attack one another. And she can do that so very, very easily. All she needs to say is this: bring me the relic that keeps Atlas afloat, or I will destroy all of Mantle. You have 3 days. And that's it. That's all she needs to do to watch them destroy each other. Because Mantle, even if they don't fully believe her, even if they think there's only a 1% chance she'll keep her word, they will be more than willing to give up the relic if it means protecting themselves. Atlas, yeah, not so much. I mean, they weren't directly threatened, so what do they care? Plus, Mantle's where the poor people live, and a lot of Atlesians don't really care about them. Plus, if they fell to the ground, they'd be more susceptible to being attacked by the Grimm. And then there's Ironwood, who no way wants to give up the relic, because either A, he still wants to use it for his whole let's escape to space plan, or B, he wants to use the limitless power of the relic to create a death laser to kill Salem's army. That'd be amazing to see. I actually hope he does that. Plus, he can't actually get the relic without Penny, who is off doing her own thing, and I kind of doubt she's going to come running when he calls. Much to his annoyance. So, yeah, that's going to be a problem. Mantle wants to give the relic, and Atlas will say no. Normally, though, that wouldn't be too much of an issue because, Mantle's all the way down there, and Atlas is up in the sky. Unfortunately, a lot of people of Mantle were evacuated Atlas when the Grimm attacked. Remember that? Which means right now Atlas is full of Mantle people who are very, very angry that it seems like their city, their people, their families have been abandoned and are going to be killed without Atlas raising a single finger to help them. Except maybe the middle finger. So, yeah, they're going to be mad, and we have already seen that when they get mad, they are fully willing to protest and march to the streets to riot. And while I'm sure many of them will just be rioting peacefully, trying to get their voice heard, others, not so much. I expect to see windows smashed, buildings burned, maybe a few rich people killed and their possessions stolen. Very likely. But even if the riots were completely peaceful, they are still going to be an annoyance. Because Ironwood is still going to need to send out troops to, keep an eye on them, stop them, to make them disperse when they're blocking the streets, keeping, people from getting back and forth more easily. It's going to become an annoyance, and at a certain point, Ironwood is going to decide that these people got in his way. And we've already seen what Ironwood does to people get in his way.
James, to my friends call me. To you, it's General.
Yeah, he's not taking any guff from anyone. I mean, I'm sure he'll start off with a more peaceful approach, maybe tear gas, rubber bullets, but yeah, eventually they're going to become such a problem that he's going to give the order, make them disappear, and thus the streets will run red with the blood of men, women, and children, who Ironwood decided were his enemies. And then, just to continue on the crazy train for him, he's going to decide, okay, in order to fight Salem or get Penny back, I'm going to need way more power. Now, the Aesops, they're great and all, but they're pretty badly wounded from that fight, and they lost their leader who provided coordination and luck, so they are nowhere near as powerful as they used to be. But they still have some pretty powerful semblances and souls. I can make use of that. I mean, let's not forget, the original purpose of the Aura Transfer Machine was to put the Fall Maiden's soul inside of Pyrrha, and Oscar already proved that 2 souls can exist in one body, so why not more than 2? Why can't Ironwood use the Aura Transfer Machine to put all of the Aesop's souls inside his body, giving him all of their semblances and their combined aura, making him stronger than even the maidens themselves? But of course, this won't come without a pretty hefty cost. I'm assuming having a bunch of souls in his body is gonna take quite a toll on his already fragile psyche, making him angry, violent, even more paranoid, attacking, arresting, or even killing any soldier who dares to disagree with him and dares to go against him. And eventually this will probably lead to Winter killing him, stabbing in the back, putting him to rest before he can further damage his legacy. At which point Winter will probably take over the academy and the military. I don't know, maybe Robin will end up taking over the academy. I could certainly see her taking up that role. Very interesting to say. Speaking of Robin, her and Crow are going to be in jail for quite a while. And I'm actually very excited, very curious to see what happens when Ironwood tells Crow that he killed Oscar. That he killed Oz, essentially. I mean, these two have had a very strained relationship for quite a while. Let's not forget that punch. But, Crow devoted his life to serving him. I think he still has some loyalty to Oz, and, he's definitely going to be against killing a 14-year-old farm boy. That's just wrong in so many ways. After that, I'm guessing the arc's going to be a prison escape, them trying to get out and reunite with Team RWBY. Jock is in the same prison as them, so maybe he'll join them, or, Watts is in the same prison, so maybe Jock will join up with Watts, host his own prison escape. Will he team up with Salem? That's a whole other question. Personally, I would like to see a little redemption in him when he decides, you know what? Teaming up with the Queen of the Grimm who's trying to destroy my entire city? That might be a bad idea. I mean, he doesn't deserve redemption, but just, some small act where he is not just a totally awful human being would be so great for Weiss. Give her a little bit of closure with her father. I'd really like to see that. And then he can die. I'd be perfectly happy with him dying right after that. As for Oscar, like I said, I think he's going to do his own solo journey, find a way to improve himself, grow stronger, maybe make some new allies. Definitely could see him unlocking his semblance, but I'm going to guess it's going to be some sort of time manipulation power, like he can slow down or speed things up. Like he could speed himself up so he's almost as fast as RWBY. I think it'd be really cool to see them, team attacks between the two of them when they're moving at the same speed. Or maybe he can make her go even faster. That'd be amazing. As for Team RWBY, hard to say. I mean, I'm guessing it's going to be a whole lot of talking and debating. Okay, what do we do here? Do we team up with Ironwood? Maybe they're going to try and end up sneaking into Atlas and stealing the relic for themselves so they can use it against Salem, or so they can escape with it and make Salem follow them. I can see it happening. And even if Salem tells the Grimm, not to attack Mantle for the 3 days, I could definitely see her, sending in 1 or 2 Grimm to inspire fear, or just, other Grimm being drawn to all of the fear and panic that's happening throughout the city. So they could definitely spend some time dealing with that. Well, deciding what to do with Ironwood, Penny, the relic, and all that. They also might just, go after Cinder. I'm not sure what she's doing. Is she going to just team back up with Salem right away now that she has the relic to show her? Or is she going to go, try and kill RWBY? I mean, that could definitely be interesting, First few episodes actually has Cinder fighting Team RWBY. That'd be absolutely freaking amazing. I'd love to see that. I mean, it's already been shown that RWBY is a fairly powerful threat to Cinder and can easily stop her using her silver eyes. So I'm guessing she'll have to rely pretty heavily on Neo to capture her, to separate her from her friends, then kill her. Very curious about that. Definitely see Cinder betraying Neo right after that and killing her. I mean, very obvious that she has no feelings for her and will betray her at the drop of a hat. I'm still hoping for some redemption for Neo, her being betrayed by Cinder, and then maybe Team RWBY helps her, saves her life, and she decides to join up with them. Yeah, she's definitely evil, but I feel like she's more of a troubled child. Someone who just looking for a place to belong, a family essentially, and Team RWBY could be that for her. I would just absolutely love to see. Yang, being like a big sister to her, teasing her. I think that'd be so absolutely adorable. I love it. Also, I think there's some room for Emerald to be redeemed at some point once she realized that Cinder doesn't actually care about her. I mean, she was definitely more disgusted by the violence in the Grimm than Mercury or Cinder, so maybe? Hard to say. So please, let me think all this down below. How do you think Volume 8 will start? This is my own theory. Like I said, I don't think anyone's really prepared to fight Salem right now. And even if they were, I can't really imagine them doing like 15 straight episodes, 2.5 to 4 hours of them just fighting Salem nonstop. There needs to be rest. There needs to be breaks. There needs to be like moments for the characters to have interactions with one another, to talk about what they're going through. Weiss just had to arrest her father and had a very interesting confrontation with her mother. RWBY just had to deal with her PTSD from mother's death and had a whole mental breakdown. They should really talk about that. Penny just saw someone die. Ren really needs some time to sort his feelings out and, become less of a jerk. I'd like to see that. John's lost complete control of his team and needs to really take back control. Pietro's probably gonna die. I know that's mean to say, but he's on his last leg. We all know that. He's given up so much of his soul to Penny that he really isn't going to last much longer. Maybe, like, one more time to revitalize her, to save her. I mean, I can actually see that happening. Maybe Cinder is going to steal Penny's maiden powers and essentially kill her, and then Pietro is going to give up the last of his soul to bring her back one last time, so Penny will stop being a maiden, but will still be alive. I don't know, maybe. Let me think of all the down below. Be sure to like and subscribe to this video. Until then,
Peace!